drums. Well, today's April 27th, 2024, my father's birthday. Happy birthday, Dad. We're at the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum. Gonna check it out. Never been here before. Well, here's their HO layout here. We're here with Joe Strapple and Captain Bill. That is still your name, right?
No, it's not.
Oh, what is it?
It's Captain Joey.
Captain Joey. I knew it was a captain.
Jesus.
Oh, Captain Bill, I think, is some other guy.
Yeah, probably. I don't think I've ever been called Bill before, so that's definitely first.
This is a layout of Oyster Bay Yard here. There's the turntable. I've seen RS3s get turned on the turntable here in the 60s. So, this is the famous home of Teddy Roosevelt, President of the U.S. Hudson locomotive on display with its tender. This is the control panel for Nassau interlocking that existed in Mineola. You can see the mainline tracks, Nassau 1, Herrick's, where Herrick's Road crossing was. Tower was right there. Here's the Oyster Bay branch taken off. Nassau 4. Going on to Locust Valley, and then Oyster Bay at the end. Down further, we have Nassau 2, Nassau 3, and so on down the main line. This is the console that existed in the tower there. Had a little mishap there. This is the Oyster Bay train station. Looks a bit different today. Well, I know that sign didn't exist here. Bradford Lee Gilbert, architect for the 1902 renovation of the Oyster Bay Station building, which we are in right now. He also designed the 1898 renovation of call it Grand Central Station. That's what it was called back then, and then they demolished it to make room for the present Grand Central Terminal. Grand Central Madison be damned. He designed this Bayport station. There's nothing there now. He designed the Southampton station. That probably is still in use today. There's Roosevelt, Teddy Roosevelt, leaving Oyster Bay. This is his hometown. Right down the road from here is his home, Sagamore Hill. Well, here's some of the oldest surviving Long Island train stations. Hewlett, 1870. Roslyn, 1887, which is still in use today. Seacliff in 1888, that's still used today, but it's really in Glen Cove. And this station in Oyster Bay is not used anymore. I remember this station in East Williston was demolished in 2004. Unfortunately, what looks like a FA Alco was a cab that was used at the 1964-65 World's Fair. The FA power packs that we had were never painted like that, unfortunately. I remember the two button cars that we had. This was shot in Babylon Station when it was still a low-level station. I took a round trip to Patchogue on them once. Only once was I able to ride it. Months later, after that trip, they were involved in a wreck at Holtzville and removed from service. Last of steam ceremony at Hicksville, 1955. Involved G5s, 35 and 39. 35 is being rebuilt here. That's an RS1. They toiled around here a lot. Nice painting of 35 at the Oyster Bay train station. They always use little engines on this branch for the most part. RS3s, RS1s. They were in the bud cars up here, and usually the G5s as opposed to the K4s. Well, this is an old Long Island Railroad map from 1914. Quite a few changes since then. There's Cedar Manor Station on the Atlantic Branch, that's gone. Higbee Avenue Station there on the Atlantic Branch, that's gone. They had all these stations from Laurelton to Jamaica, and then the West Hempstead Branch went up to West Hempstead and connected a Country Life Press with the Hempstead Branch, went straight across Garden, up to Nassau, Mineola, and then all the way up to Oyster Bay. And also here going east was the Central Branch. Excuse me, this is the Central Branch, joined up at B Tower. That part has been torn out east of Mitchell Field, and the existing Central Branch continues down here towards Babylon. You'll notice the Manorville Eastport Branch, that was ripped up in the 30s. And you'll notice the Montauk Branch going east. At Bridgehampton, you notice the line curves north up to Sag Harbor. That was the original end of the line there. And then later on in the late 1800s, they extended east to Montauk. It was reached in 1898, and that's the Montauk branch of today. Another noticeable difference is the Port Jefferson branch. Going up, Kings Park, Smithtown, St. James, Flowerfield Station was here, Stony Brook, Seatucket was here, Port Jefferson, and it kept on going. Went east, Miller's Place, Rocky Point, Shoreham, and Wading River. This all nowadays is the Wading River Rail Trail. Highly recommend taking a walk on it, very historic. And you can also notice the Far Rockaway line goes down to Far Rockaway along the water out to Rockaway Beach, and then it curves up through Ozone Park, crosses over the Atlantic Branch, the Montauk Branch, and joins up at White Pot Junction to head into New York, this way. You know a guy in Lindenhurst that has one of these in his front yard, and it works. Oh, here's one of the railroad presidents, Francis Cabresca. I had the pleasure of meeting him, shaking his hand. He was in charge from 78 to 81. He was a World War II fighting ace, as you can see. And he has an airport in West Hampton named after him. Here are some other presidents. Thomas Pendergast, Kenneth Bauer, James Dermody, lives out in Mastic Shirley someplace, and the incomparable Ray Kenny. He was a rail fan and well respected in the railroad industry from here and New Jersey Transit. Here's some more presidents. Elena Williams, Patrick Nowakowski, Philip Eng, who's now with MBTA and a highly respected individual. Catherine Rinaldi. She's in charge of Long Island and, well, now Metro North, she is now, but this fella, Rob Free, is in charge of the Long Island Railroad. So he was at the 190th anniversary celebration they had at Grand Central Terminal. See a lot of those. on the DEs and DMs and other Long Island equipment.
Completed Long Island expansion. For one thing, the bar top would almost.
Weston Corbin, 1881-1896. Longest serving presidents. In the Putnam Museum in Davenport, Iowa. Corbin expanded the branch from Locust Valley to Oyster Bay in 1889, Montauk in 1895. We're in the other part of the museum where the old turntable is that's been restored. This is opening day of this museum. First time this turntable's operated in many years. Patent a GE bell on that. GE 25 tonner doing the work here. Yeah, this isn't the first time I've seen this particular turntable get spun around. In the late 60s, I was watching the PM Rush. They were bringing in trains with RS3s for the most part, and I saw a couple of them getting a spin on the table. A couple of GE locomotives. Here's our turntable operator. We're all going to get dizzy on this turntable. Well, this, I can honestly say this is a first for me. This is weird. Definitely a weird feeling.
Breathe in, Cash.
It's 35's firebox. Got a couple of simulators here. The rail that the turntable follows. We have a similar turntable running in Greenport, but that's stationary forever. Glad I didn't have a glass of wine before I rode on this. I'd be zigzagging my way off of this thing when it's done. There's Joe and Captain Joey standing to his left in the middle. And one of the museum volunteers, I assume. Equipment staying storage yard over in Oyster Bay and the actual trains.
Thank you.
Thank you. Hey folks, I'm in the cab of DE30AC 423. It's actually a simulator. It's not the real 423, unfortunately. But I don't like this engine at all. There is no K5 LLA horn on this thing. It makes no noise. I'm pushing buttons and nothing is going on. But this is the closest I've ever been in one of these things. I saw the real 423 last night with spaghetti and meatballs, and that, you know, that was so good, and he has such a contagious effect on me. I had spaghetti and meatballs when I went home for dinner. So, but I have to settle for this instead of the real thing. Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
All right, this is as close as I've been to it inside of a DE30AC. So here's the throttle, running down to idle. What you don't want to do is when you're running down the track full speed, you don't want to throw that thing into idle. Everybody's drinks and coffee is going to be all over their clothes.
Tim, I think you're in reverse.
Oh, even worse. All right, that reverse is in reverse.
Put it in neutral.
You have to put it in idle first.
Yeah, idle, my bad. Not
Yeah,
neutral.
can't move once you do that.
Oh, good heavens, I should know better. All right, now I got it forward. Okay, so we're going to go forward. Notch 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Going down the track at high speed with the 423. I want to blow that beautiful K5 LLA horn. And what happens?
Nothing.
And that's the original button before they brought in the valve.
Yeah, that was as delivered when they had the
button.
the really loud horns you couldn't hear from like 5 miles away.
Well, that's the sander right there. Bell on, bell off. What is this? The
What is?
alerter?
Yeah, I think that might be.
That's
the
probably the
there's
alerter, yeah.
Well, there's a pedal down here. So I know you have, maybe you tap the pedal on that or something.
It's definitely not a gas pedal.
Okay. Attendant call. Does somebody serve drinks to the engineer if you push that button?
Dude, I would so go for engineer if they had somebody bring me drinks.
Cab door override. HEP mode, diesel. And they have off. Okay, so I guess you want to turn the HEP on with this. Turn it with that. If you're just running light. So, yeah, this is where's the? Oh, here, over here.
Yep.
We're in the release position. It looks like.
I think so.
All right, so say we're stopped at the station, full brake, release, and notch it up like this. Lap. I know lapping has something to do with adjusting the brakes a little bit, but I didn't think they did that.
Okay, so that, yeah.
Yeah.
Anybody want to explain to him?
I can try and give it a shot. That's the automatic brake. That's for the train brakes.
Oh yeah.
The other one is the independent. That's for only for the.
That's just for the engine. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
I
This
think
is.
they're both brakes.
This one has those brakes you actually have to set up.
Oh yeah, that's right. This is the independent brake.
Yeah.
It controls the brakes on the engines only. Full apply, release. And this is when you have a train attached and connected to you. Okay.
So I think if you go to lap, that sets it up, and then you move it to service for like a second or two, and then you move it back to lap to hold the brake pressure.
Oh, okay. I
I've
didn't think.
I've only seen that type of braking system on CSWs.
I didn't think you had to do that on engines like this. I know on the old FA power cars, you had to go lapping the brake.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what you got to do. That's what you got to do. Yeah.
I didn't think these did that. Okay. What's HO?
I have no idea.
I don't think it has to do with any model train. Emergency, obviously.
That's obviously emergency.
Yeah. And these are the speeds. How fast you can go, whatever it lights up as. There's a radio. This, is that the volume control?
Oh, I think that's what you do to enter the train information, the ASI, this thing right here.
Oh, okay.
So you type in the train number, and then it'll put in whatever station you're at or whatever for the announcement. You know?
Oh. And seeing a static display like this, you really don't learn too much. Oh, what up here? Okay. I think this is the emergency switch. Shuts the engine
I think that's
off.
if the engine light's on fire.
Yeah. Something. And speaker.
That's your radio, right?
Oh yeah, that's the radio, and this is the putting your train information in.
Yeah. Oh, look, the headlights up here.
There's the headlights.
Oh boy, you're gonna get a stiff neck working on this stuff.
Yeah, imagine looking up at the ceiling every day, putting on the headlights.
I have to do this every now and then. It takes a little elbow grease. Dim, bright, dim. Let's see, climate control. Well, on a day like this, you don't need it. You can have it off.
Besides, I don't think it usually works in engines anyway.
The windows are your climate control.
Fan control. Okay.
The amount of times I've seen the doors open on train.
I hear the fan is really loud on these things.
Where's the fan? Well, that's the air conditioning vent over there. Yeah.
Maybe.
And these are all your marker light switches, ground. A lot of this is going to be timetable light. Limit train brakes bypass. Well, a lot of buttons to circumvent certain things. Let's see.
Those are the rear headlights.
Rear headlights.
So in case you're going 80 miles an hour in reverse somehow,
Yeah.
you just were.
Well, that's assuming you don't have cars. But I had cars, so everybody's coffee is they're swimming in the coffee in the aisles. So.
Just be glad they don't have a parlor car anymore. They've been swimming in.
Oh, is this the
the security camera. Yeah.
Security cameras.
Amazing.
Big Brother's watching every move.
All right. So this is what it's like to be in the cab of one of these DEDMs. It just breaks my heart more than anything else not to have one of those K5 LLA horns, because this engine has probably the best next to 509, 504. So, but it's cool. It's cool. You learn a lot. I learned a lot from this little thing. All right, that should do. What's your name?
Rafael.
Raphael.
On
Okay.
YouTube, I go by Empire State Rails.
Oh, I've seen that.
This is the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum. Those are our hours. This is really scuffed. This is unofficial. This is not being condoned by the actual museum. This is just a really rough tour. So, right over here, we have an Alco FA unit head cab. This was on display in the 1964 World's Fair. It was just kind of used to bring people in and everything like that. Yada, yada. It wasn't actually part of a real Alco FA unit. This is kind of like a replica. You go in and everything. It's pretty detailed. This year, this is an M1. This M1 simulator, just like our other simulator, the M7 and the M7 and this. This was donated to the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum by the Long Island Railroad in 2006. Obviously, it's a Bud M1. This was used in Hillside Support Facility. It was not taken from a real M1. These were all just kind of used from like shells and everything that they had.
Simulators.
These are all pretty good. Yep, they're simulators. This is caboose number 50. This was in service until the 90s or late 2000s, until it was taken out of service and everything. It is very cool. There are smaller model train layouts on the inside. They do not work, but they're in there, and they're pretty cool. There's also a toilet in there. Pretty cool.
B54.
This is our MP54 ping pong coach. These were in service. These were made by the Pennsylvania Railroad. So this was still when the railroad was still under the our favorite railroad, the Pennsylvania Railroad.
Oh yeah, I rode on a few of these.
The pigtails. There are still a few of these and everything. This is what we have on Long Island now. It's currently undergoing heavy restoration, everything. So estimated time, kind of like maybe 2 years, it should be all done and everything like that. We still have the seats and all the parts in the New Haven caboose, which we will get to next. Over here we have a bunch of derelict stuff. That is the chassis for 35. That is the track 7 and track 8 sort of thing that was in Jamaica. I don't know how they got it there. I've been meaning to ask for a year. I keep forgetting. Position lights over there, those were by Mineola, and then they got during the third track thing that delayed my trains and canceled them every weekend. That was fun. This is the tender for Long Island Railroad number 35. This is our G5. It is the only G5. This is legitimately the only Long Island Railroad G5 out of the two that are in somewhat decent condition, which is pretty sad. I don't know if you think about it. It's better than 39, which is just a bunch of pieces. So we have that. And so this is the tender for 35. This little station house here, this was just a set for, I think it was like a TV commercial or something like that. So this wasn't like a real station or anything like that, but it's nice and it fits. So that's where we store all of our stuff. That behind there, we can't let you go past here because it's volunteers only thing. But that over there is our New Haven caboose, stencils to be added at a later date. That made a pretty somewhat famous railfan move on the Oyster Bay branch that everyone and their grandmothers went to go see. Except for me, because no one told me. But yeah, that's pretty good. And on the inside there is where we have a lot of storage. We have a lot of good stuff in there. A lot of magazines, a lot of engine, locomotive parts, maps, all that stuff. So there's a lot of great stuff in there that none of you guys will ever see. Never to be seen. Never to be seen, except for me. This is the crown jewel. This is Long Island Road number 35. Now, 35 has a very interesting history. We do not own 35. 35 is on loan to us. The county of Nassau owns locomotive number 35. Originally, it was supposed to go to the Black River and Western, but those plans fizzled out by the 1980s and everything. It was a whole big ordeal. It was originally displayed after the retirement of steam in 1955 in Eisenhower Park. And, you know, people have been trying to get it up and running ever since. This is the closest that we're probably ever going to get to. It's not being steamed up again. It can't be done. It was tried, we got screwed over. But at least it will be cosmetically restored. We have a contract for people to help with the wheels and everything right there. Those 35's wheels, and that's her cab right over here. So basically, the hope is that in like 2 years, we'll be able to reassemble the whole engine, put her on this track here, and then we can wheel around to the turntable and move her around and everything like that.
Cool.
But that'll be really great and everything. We're going to put like a smoke machine in the funnel and everything. It'll be really fun. That light lights up. So do the markers and everything too. That is not 35's. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that. That's a replica. I don't care. That's a replica. We have the original Keystone, but that is not it. The wheels and everything like that. This is the cab, and I'm getting a phone call, and I'm not picking that up. This is also not ours. A lot of the stuff here is very, very interesting. We have a lot of collaboration with the Twin Forks. Twin Forks, a National Railroad Historical Society. They're or the chapter of the NRHS. They're very nice. We have two P-72 coaches that are in their display.
Riverhead.
And yep, in Riverhead, which is next to Brimley. And we also have this. This is here for time being. Also, probably never leaving, but you know, it's a CN Rail speeder and everything. It's pretty cool. It doesn't work, but it's here. It's nice. It's Canadian. It's international. You know, we get fancy with foreign stuff. So we cannot go any further than this little gate here. That is, we have two 25-tonners that used to work in Morris Park shops. That over there in the yellow, blue, and white, that is number 397. And right over here in the fictional Pensy scheme is 398. 398 is operational. There's a 25-tonner. Both of these were purchased around the same time, and both of these were retired at the same time. They were generously donated by the Long Island Railroad to the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum. 397 is not operational. 397 is that one. Fun fact, I painted that along with Neil, Long Island Railroad 97, the server. Me and him worked on that all last summer. It was falling apart. So, you know, you're welcome. It looks awesome. I know.
How many horsepower are those? Couldn't be too much.
Not a whole lot. It's enough to get this caboose moving, though. And this caboose is, it is, I believe, don't quote me on it, the last wooden Long Island River caboose around. And it's great. And it runs. We just got it running last year and everything. It is restored to operating condition. If you saw earlier, we took it on the turntable and everything. And very soon, definitely before the end of the summer and everything, so maybe next month if we're lucky, we will be taking actual passenger train rides on this. So if you come to the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum, you will be able to get on those little steps, go inside that fully refurnished caboose, be taken by 398 onto the turntable, spun around, and that is your tour. Of the Oyster Bay Railroad.
So this is the original turntable that was here, like
yes.
60 in the 60s. I saw an engine turn. This is what they were turning it on.
Yes, this was before this. It was like a wooden. It was like a hand powered. This was built in, I want to say, the 20s or the 30s. Again, don't quote me on that. But yes, this has been there ever since. This was originally part of the full Oyster Bay yard and everything. This part of the yard was abandoned in, I want to say, the 90s. They stopped using it with the DEDMs coming in. You could just, you know, just go into the cab unit. So they abandoned this. We just got that running 2-3 years ago, something like that. So it's great. So even if you're coming in on a day in which we're not doing train rides, this is always operational. We're getting power in from elsewhere.
Oh, yeah.
So we're able to spin this around. You can get on it, go around. It's a great time. So yeah, and these were used in Hillside, and then they were donated to the Oyster Bay Railroad Museum when the Long Island Railroad no longer needed them. Why they didn't need them anymore? They probably went to digital or something like that. I think these had screens on the outside or something like that.
M7 simulator.
This M7 is really cool because we just installed Train Sim World into it. They literally just, it's being worked on right now. As you can see, is what's going on in there. And it's great. So you can go in, we have like a surround sound kind of thing going on in there. And you can operate as an M7 in the Train Sim World and everything. So if you play Train Sim World, it's that, but you can do it in the actual cab of an actual M7, and that you can't get anywhere else. So that's really neat.
When do you expect to have that working?
I mean, technically it's working now. They're just ironing out the kinks to it. So I really, honestly, generously, probably 2 weeks.
Oh, okay, that's good to
even
know.
though it's technically done now, they just, like, you know, assuming whatever kinks they gotta iron out. I don't know how to make a simulator, but, you know, I'm sure it's artwork. So
7001, the first M7. Okay. And over here we have a DE30 AC simulator cab, 423, which probably didn't exist back then. So
And that's probably why they numbered it 423, because they weren't expecting 507 to have a heart attack.
and that number's still up there on the brow.
Actually, I think it's just recently.
Well, I had a chance to look last night, but I didn't notice it. So, but what's his name? Put on a great show with it. Yeah, look at this DE30 AC cab. 423.